You know where my brain went is you took someone. Now, mind you, a soccer player is going to take a little bit more risk because they're all in competitive, all that than others may. But what if you took someone like Evel Knievel? So Evel Knievel would jump over, Grand Canyon and all these other cars, and Evel Knievel is now in charge of risk. I mean,
Good one.
welcome to this week's episode of AI Because, the podcast with friends. And these are freaking awesome friends to be in the room with. This week, there's been a lot happening. And I know while we're not going to talk politics, there's been a lot happening because of politics in the US. And it's pretty exciting to be around and be in the AI space. This week, we're going to hear what's going on each of us individually, but Manoj is going to take us into Midjourney and some real examples of what he's doing and what we can do in Midjourney in creating images. Michael's going to share just a custom GPT. So these are just the way that you can more customize chat to be able to support you in different business ventures. So cool stuff. I'm going to go into just like chat at your doorstep, because I think what's happened is I speak to a lot of leaders every day, and there's a lot of people that don't realize the what's available to them to be able to make certain processes easier. So I'm going to go through about 3 things like that. And then, as always, we'll just have a chat about some other stuff going on. We encourage you to share with us topics and interest items that you have as well, and expectations and fears, because there's a lot of discussion going on around stuff like that. So welcome. So I'll kick us off. What's happening in your space? What are you experimenting with, and what's going on in the AI world? Kick off, Manoj. What's going on in your space?
Right. So on what we have been trying is I work in the risk management space where my small business, we provide products and services to risk managers in financial services. And it is a very dry discipline. So we've been trying to see, okay, can AI make things a little interesting? Can we use AI to communicate some of the messages, but not in a very dry way? So something we've been experimenting, which has got a lot of positive feedback, is like taking a personality and asking AI that, okay, if this person was head of risk department in a bank, how would that person be running the risk department? So we did our first video on Elon Musk, which got a lot of views. The second one we did was on Buddha. You know, what if Gautam Buddha was the head of risk? How would he run the risk management department? And this Sunday, I did a video on what if Ronaldo, who's one of the world's biggest soccer player, if he was the head of risk team, how would he run that department? And it was interesting to use AI for that, because then AI gives the storyline for the video which we created. We asked it to add a little bit of humor to make it interesting. But then we also used AI to create a lot of the images which went into the video. And I'm going to show one of the tool which we use for that video. So that was interesting, using AI to make a dry topic like risk management a little interesting for the
A
audience.
little interesting. You know where my brain went is you took someone. Now, mind you, a soccer player is going to take a little bit more risk because they're all in competitive, all that than others may. But what if you took someone like Evel Knievel? So Evel Knievel would jump over, Grand Canyon and all these other cars, and Evel Knievel is now in charge of risk. I mean,
Good one. Good
that's where
one.
my brain went. It's like, okay, so you'd have outcomes that are maybe a little bit different than what you've typically seen. So how do you make risk sexy and
Yeah.
adventurous? Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Michael, what's happening in your world?
Not much. So right now, today, I'm gonna just show a little bit how you can use ChatGPT and create your own custom GPT, where
Yeah.
it can be whatever, help you with legal, help you with different other aspects in your business. It's very powerful.
Michael
And
Michael
that's,
loves just experimenting with stuff. So I look
yeah,
forward to that. Steve, what's happening? What have you
thank
been
you.
playing with?
Well, a couple things. So, OpenAI now has a new search capability in ChatGPT that appears. I use the Mac, the dedicated Mac client. So I'm looking forward to testing that out this week and comparing it with Perplexity. So I normally use Perplexity whenever I'm doing searches, right? And that need references. So that's one thing. Another thing is I was helping out a friend automate some business processes. And And so, yeah, it's almost anything that you can think about that you used to do manually, you can start thinking about automating. And then lastly, I've used it to really raise my medical IQ so I can have more intelligent discussions with my doctor. So anytime if I have any kind of issues I want to bring up, I can usually have a really, really intelligent between going out, maybe getting the latest research, and then asking chat to summarize it or create a mind map of it.
Mhm.
Is
And then,
has your doctor picked on that yet, Steve? That you're becoming more and more.
That's
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. AI raises the bar for everyone.
So doctors like, Steve,
Yeah,
did you go to
yeah,
medical school over the weekend? What's happening right now, dude?
yeah. So
It's
anyway, so yeah, as always, I literally use AI like probably, I don't know, at least 2 dozen times a day. So yeah.
yeah, it is. It is my chat is my buddy and partner in crime. It's interesting. I was reading and catching up on stuff over the weekend, and what struck me is, and I was telling Manoj that chat.com is now a domain name that so those of you who have not signed up for a free account, just go to chat.com now, chat.com, and it will map you to ChatGPT to be able to sign up to a free account. But that domain name, I think somebody sold it for $10 million to
Nice.
OpenAI. That was a good buy. That was
Nice.
a good buy.
That
Yeah,
guy didn't need
it's
to learn
actually, well,
anything.
it was yeah, exactly. It was a really good buy. In fact, one of the founders of one of the, well, I can't remember which company, he
Alice.
actually owned that domain. So he was very smart and
Hmm.
Oh
bought it
yeah. Oh
years
yeah.
ago.
They're
Hmm.
speculating he
Yeah,
sold it for like 15 mil.
yeah, exactly, 10 to 15
That's not
million.
a bad
It-
investment. I think he bought it for
no,
yeah.
however it is, I don't
Yeah.
care how long he held it, right? Because you pay like $15 for a domain name,
Business.
Yeah.
right?
Business
That,
strategies.
Yeah,
that was a
yeah,
good one. That was a good one. Greg, how
yeah.
about you? What's going on in Canada?
Well, and that's exactly it. I am in Canada, and summer has passed us by. So
You mean those 5 days that you had are gone?
yeah. So with the
Yeah.
holidays coming up, American Thanksgiving and the festivities in December that are coming up, I use chat for my travel consultant, and I have about 3 possible destinations in mind. So I threw one out to chat, which was uh, I want to go from Calgary to Easter Island and give me a 7 to 9 day itinerary. And it was absolutely amazing. So gave me some uh, flight information to take me to Santiago, told me some areas of the city that were safe and fun places to visit right within the city. I did a little excursion asking with chat, found some wineries to tour that were close by, and then helped me with flights out to Easter Island. So it was really, really impressive. Got all
Wow.
the costs for what tours I would want, what the fees would be, everything that I might be looking into was all handed right out to me. So it was actually very, very helpful, very reliable. Inquiring into, would expand a little bit on what the city centers might look like, what the history was.
Wow.
Within a half an hour, I was just fully educated on a pretty exciting adventure. So
Oh, I love
That's
it.
amazing. When you go there, you ought to think about doing like about a 3 hour excursion to go to Santa Cruz in the middle of Chilean wine country. It's amazing.
okay, I will
Add
I
add
will
like
go
two
back
more
to chat.
days. Add 2 more days to your itinerary and go to you literally.
But it could
It's
spin off
amazing.
into like a television series, Gilligan's
That's all
Island.
right.
You
You
said
could do
3 hour
it. You
tour.
could do
That's where my
you
brain
could
went.
you could do one of these podcasts with the Andes in the background
Yeah,
of Chilean wine
pack for
country.
like a couple weeks, Greg, before you get on that 3 hour tour. You never know. You just
You
Yeah,
never know.
never
take
know. Yeah,
ChatGPT with you.
absolutely.
You
Yes.
don't want to lose
So,
that.
so if anyone's interested in going with Greg on his vacation, just reach out to us and we'll connect you with his itinerary. So at least you know what he knows. Thank you. I was listening to just getting catch up on all the news and like I was talking to Manoj earlier before we hit record. This is before the rest of you guys joined the room. I was listening to the AI of the Future summit that Peter Diamandis had pulled together for like 40 minutes and change. Some of these top thought leaders. So one of them was the former CEO of Uber, who's the CEO of Cloud Kitchen. I think TikTok was represented, NVIDIA, and some other leaders, and just talking about pros and cons of AI, where they see stuff's going, the trajectory that we're on. And what I thought was really cool and just something to think about was the former CEO of Uber, Travis Kalanick. He talked about just creating this culture of the organizations around innovating. And what he talked about was innovating at speed and at scale. And that can mean something different for all of us, right? So if I think about small, medium-sized businesses, like I'm a one deep with coaching and leadership development. So how do I innovate at speed and at scale? The answer is going to be different than an organization that's a larger organization or a medium-sized business. But I love the idea of this. And what he said is the business that he's in, their stuff, they looked at cultural values within them, and their cultural values for the organization is truth, trust, and passion. What I loved is he then went in and described, he said, imagine when you have this and create it in the organization that you've got childlike playfulness, right, and creativity with teenage rebelliousness, along with the wisdom of an old man. So if you pull all that stuff in, right, with these trust and truth and passion, you basically harness the best of everything. And so for me, the takeaway is don't take everything so frickin' seriously. You know, we walked whatever time on this earth. Get playful, experiment, be determined, go against the flow. You know, a lot of times what happens is we go, well, no one else is doing it, so I'm not going to do it. Be rebellious like a teenager is. Be the first to go and do whatever. And so I just, obviously there's passion. I was super excited when I heard that, and I listened to it a couple times, and I thought, I'm writing this stuff down. I mean, it's cool stuff.
I love
Uh,
it.
so anyway, it
Who
was
wouldn't
cool.
want to be part of
Oh
that organization or that culture, right?
my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
can you imagine?
Yeah.
It would be like, and that's part of with leadership development too, Manoj. We're talking about how do you create the space that you tap into everything that everybody brings to work. And it means that you flip the traditional leadership model on its head, where before we'd walk in going, well, I'm the boss or the leader. And so because I am, I have to have all the answers. And I'm going to say BS. Step in and tap into, you're going to have access to information that other people in the organization don't have. Step into your team and go, hey, this is what it is. What are your thoughts about what we can do about it? And
Yeah.
be playful and be creative. So I just thought, it was just really cool. And it was really inspiring to have it at an organization that's not, you know, 2, 3, 10 people, larger organizations that can do that, because I think you just blow the competition away when that happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. And something I want to expand on what Greg said earlier, because what Greg did in terms of using ChatGPT to create an itinerary,
Yeah.
that is going to change, or it'll affect the small businesses, because we see that right now less people are doing Google searches and more people are going to ChatGPT tools. And a lot of small businesses advertise on Google, and that's how, you know, people find when people are doing search on Google. But now, as search is getting slowly moved to these AI applications, it is going to affect a lot of small businesses, because now if people are not going to Google, then all those Google ad spend small businesses are spending on, you know, will become less and less effective, and they need to see how they come into those recommendations. So like when I went to Portugal, Greg, last year, I did the same thing. And I asked for vegetarian restaurants, and it gave me a list of restaurants. And if the small businesses don't come up in those responses, it's not search result, right? It responses by the AI model. And those small businesses may be at a disadvantage, you know, going forward. So there isn't that element of visibility that small businesses need to look at. how people find them, how their customers find them in this new world where people are not going to Google search, but they're asking Perplexity or ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT now has a web search enabled, it's real now.
Yes.
Well, it's interesting if they're web search enabled, what engine are they using to do that?
I was
At
just
the
So-
moment,
thinking
I
about
heard
that.
We're gonna
three,
have to play with it.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting. I don't know if it's gonna be having interesting content, if that's gonna drive the traffic. What is it? What are these algorithms looking at that will?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
Interesting.
actually looking
That's-
forward to playing with that.
That's
Yeah.
some to think. I hadn't thought of it, Manoj, in that way before. But you're right. I do want to dig deeper on that. I made a note.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
Yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
Google is also trying very hard because now they're also using, when you do search, they also show the AI results
They
on
do.
Mm-hmm.
but they still show a lot of ads.
Yeah.
And that's where ChatGPT is going the other way. ChatGPT is saying, no, you pay for the subscription and you get a ad-free experience. So it'll be much cleaner. So it'll be
Right.
interesting to see which
Yeah.
of these two approaches wins
But
going forward.
yeah, and regardless of what happens, it's resulting in less clicks on websites, right? Because even Google now, when you do a search, they used to just give you links,
Mhm.
right? But now you'll notice they give you descriptions right there. And so what's happening is there's less click through to the underlying websites.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And they're seeing that already, which impacts Google's revenue.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It impacts
Right.
Google's revenue. So Google did that, and it's impacting Google's revenue because people just take that and they don't click through. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for catching up, guys, on what's been happening. Manoj, I'm going to kick it over to you, sir, for Midjourney.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. So let me just do a 10, 15 minutes overview of a tool which most of us in this team are also using for our own small businesses. And we want to share this with the audience today. So the tool I'm sharing today is called Midjourney. So it falls into this category of text to image, where you can write a text prompt. So you can basically describe your image in a text format. And what it produces in the output is it produces an image, which of course then you can use for sales, marketing, and other purposes. And the reason we are recommending this tool is because it is the best tool in the market. So while there are many text to image AI software, this is the best one. And everybody in this group, is using this particular tool. And it's great for the small businesses because the prices only starts at $10 per month. So which every small business should be able to afford if you are doing a lot of sales and marketing in your organization. And you don't need to make any annual commitment. So you can just use it for a month when you want to create a lot of sales collateral or marketing collateral. You sign up for $10, get your images, and then you can cancel your subscription. So there is no upfront investment. There is no upfront cost. So it's really,
Yeah,
really
but you won't
price
cancel.
effective.
You won't
Yes.
cancel.
That's our experience. That is right. I've had it for nearly 16 months now. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and then it is very easy to use. You're going to see a small demonstration, but because a lot of small business owners, you're already busy running your organization, managing your business, you may not have time to go to YouTube and try out and do a lot of experimentation, because that's how we learned that I spent, when I started with Midjourney, nearly 60 to 80 hours trying to learn that tool, but not everybody may have that luxury. And that's why our team, we've created a 2 to 3 hour guided training. So if you want to go to YouTube and learn and spend 60, 80 hours, then that's great. But if you don't have that time, then we can get you quickly up to speed with learning Midjourney for your business. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what we cover in that coaching session. And these images can be used for sales and marketing content. It can also be used for internal content. So if you are in HR team or compliance team and you're preparing a lot of employee training courses, which all employees have to do every year or every quarter, then these images can be also utilized for those courses. If you prepare a lot of PowerPoint presentations for senior managers or internal purposes, or for your customers, then you can also utilize these images for those particular use cases. You can also create the images to align with your brand colors. So you can fully customize those images. So whatever your brand colors are, the images can reflect your brand color. So they look like those are images of your organization and they're not taken from some stock library. You can also create images of various sizes. So if you want landscape, portrait, squares, orientation images. So there are different options you have of getting images depending on what your need is. And there is also a Midjourney community, and which is what I really love, that every 3-4 weeks I just go and look at the great images the community is creating, and that if I like a particular image, then you can see how that image was created, and I use that to continuously learn new ways from other members who've tried those ideas and they're sharing those ideas. So I'll give you a peek into what that community images look like. And like I said, you can contact us. Of course, you can go and do self-learning, but if you want to get started in 2 to 3 hours, then that's where we recommend you can send us an email. We can then schedule a 2-hour course and we can get you quickly up to speed so you can get started and start using those images for your sales and marketing purposes.
I want
And
the
then, of
little
course,
kitten, Manoj. I want the kitten.
okay.
So
Oh yeah, so
cute.
and these are all the images created by Midjourney.
Yeah.
So let's then deep dive and actually show you how to create those images. So I'm going to take the Cambria Crumbs Bakery, which we have used in the past. So we'll create some images around that. So in this case, this was the prompt I typed on the top. So I just said a young girl child eating a cupcake. She's very happy. In background is her mother happily looking at her and taking a picture of the girl on phone. Scene is a modern and friendly looking bakery. So that sort of is how you need to know how to write those prompts. That's what we cover in that coaching session. We'll teach you how to write a good quality prompt. And then Midjourney comes with certain parameters, which again, we won't deep dive in this session, but we can teach you as part of that training. So this parameter is giving you the size. So it'll create a landscape image. Stylize is another parameter it uses to decide the amount of creativity. And then this is just showing the latest version 6.1 of the Midjourney tool it is using to create the images. And you can see these are the 4 images it came out with. And just to show this in live, I'll copy and paste this prompt and I'll show you in the tool itself. So if I copy and paste, I'll take into the Midjourney. So this is what Midjourney looks like, where you can come to the website and then you type your prompt here and then you just submit. And then it sends that prompt back to the AI model, and that AI model has been trained on thousands and millions of images. So it'll come back and give you 4 images, and then you can pick from those images, or you can run that prompt again as many times as you want to create new images until you find something you like. So here you can see that this time, yeah, it's come with these 4 images. So every time you run the prompt, it'll come up with unique images because these images, they don't exist anywhere.
Yeah.
So AI just created it. They are unique images. They don't exist anywhere in the internet. So that's where you don't have this worry about royalty and paying somebody, for getting access to these images. You can utilize these images into your sales and marketing campaigns without, worrying about royalty and all that stuff.
This
So let
is
me
so
then just
cool.
show. Yes, thank you.
I
Thank you.
want to go to our bakery now that we made up. I mean, I know how Greg felt last
You
time.
got
And I'm
us.
like, oh my gosh, can we just go there?
You got us hungry now, Manoj.
So I'll just show, because it takes time to run the images in live. I just wanted to show a few examples of what, that if I was a bakery, then these are sort of images which a bakery can create if they were doing some campaign. So in this case, I just have a prompt which is saying a young girl child is feeding cupcake to a young boy. And then again, they're both happy. So then in this case, it created this image. And I also added here in background is a group of young children standing and staring at the 2 children feeding each other cupcakes. So you can see a little bit there in the background.
Yeah, this guy's jealous, by the way. The one at the bottom. He's looking at the cupcake.
Oh my.
So that sort of, yeah, is a slightly different prompt. And then the prompt if you want to then bring different ethnicities and make your images multicultural, multi-ethnic. Then in this case, I've said, a young African American girl feeding a cupcake to Japanese American boy, because by default, when you do,
Nice.
it'll pick whatever from the model, whatever culture or ethnicity. There is no sort of predefined rule there. But if you want to be very specific in your image, that you want people from a particular ethnic background or nationality, then you can specify that in the prompt. And then it's created these 4 images, and it also created a black and white image. And again, I didn't ask for it, but that's where AI decided that, okay, maybe I may be interested in a black and white image. So I also got a black and white image here. Then another flavor of the same was that's the same prompt, exactly same prompt, but I just changed Pixar style. So I just added those 2 words, and then it's created the image in a Pixar style in case, you were doing some marketing for the kids and you wanted it to be a little bit more Pixar-y rather than realistic. Then you can also create the images. Midjourney can create images in Pixar style, and then it'll follow the rest of the prompt. I've kept the same. So only by adding those 2 words, it completely changes the look and feel of the.
And it changed the size of the cupcakes.
Yes.
They're huge
They look,
compared to the kids.
like they do in the Pixar world.
Yep.
Pixar style.
And then here was another one where young girl feeding cupcake to her golden retriever puppy dog. And then again, scene is modern and friendly looking bakery in the background. And then you get these really cute images.
I really like the quality of Midjourney. It's very high quality and
it's
realistic.
it's so photorealistic if you want it to be.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say the photograph prompt is the one that did that, because literally it's like someone took a picture with
Yes.
like the lighting right and the lens stuff right. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why we love Midjourney, and we use that for our business also, because it's so close to real life, right? If somebody didn't know anything about AI or Midjourney, they would think these are real photographs. And then another one was this one, photograph of a young girl, child face covered with crumbs and cream from a cupcake, and she has eaten a part-eaten cupcake in her hand, is looking at the camera with a surprised look. I think it's a cute image. Which can be
Like
used in the.
someone blew like confectioner's sugar on her.
I know,
Except that one.
or like she herself, right, is blowing the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the same prompt, I just change as an African American young voice. The rest of the prompt is the same. So then you can just have, children from different nationalities, ethnicities into that, and then you get these 4 images, which you can then pick from. So this is where once you get started, it's like you get into this zone, where you're just creative and you've been given this amazing tool which can create photographs. So you just have to visualize that, okay, what do you actually want from your sales and marketing, and how do you want to communicate to your customer? So you can really say imagination is a limit, with this tool, that you could easily, a creative person can easily spend hours, with this particular tool.
Well, and it's so funny you say that, Manoj, because it's not even imagination, it's a limit. Because even if you put one word into Midjourney without any of the other stuff, you're going to get something back to where it could at least spark your own imagination.
Absolutely.
To do more. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll show in the training, we'll teach you also how you can write the prompt. So if you have an idea but you don't know how the prompt is, you can also automate that part. So AI can write the prompt for you. You just give it what do you have in your mind, and the prompt can be written by the AI tool. And I use that because then I don't have time to really think of all the aspects. So I've created a AI model where I just put my idea, and then it gives me the detailed prompt, and then I just copy and paste that in Midjourney. So just to close this part, then the benefits is that this is really great for small businesses with small marketing and sales budget, because that's where a lot of organizations, we're not like Unilevers and Procter and Gamble who can spend billions, on their sales and marketing, and then they can get the studios and models and commercial photographer. The now small businesses, they don't have those limitations. So for $10, they can create now same quality of images P&G and Unilever are creating without all these constraints of hiring an agency, hiring a studio, hiring models, hiring commercial photographer, and so on. So it's a perfect tool for small businesses that it closes that gap where the larger organization, had an unfair competitive advantage, but now they don't, because now that creativity is available to every small business owner.
Yeah, and you're not limited to stock images.
You're not limited to stock
Which
images.
is
Well,
what I love, which is what I love.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is sort of where you can absolutely combine and align your images with your branding color, so you don't have to pick for stock images, because even for small businesses, subscribing to those library of stock images was expensive. And even when you subscribe, some images align with your branding, some don't align with your branding. So I personally, as a small business owner, I was never happy with the stock images, that it was always hit and miss, and I didn't really like. I was really not using those stock images because they were not communicating, what I wanted to say in my sales and marketing collateral. And then the magic is you can do this all in minutes. So it doesn't require like 3 day, 4 day of shoot. And then maybe you get your images, after a week. You can get those images ready. And if you want to post something on your website in the next 10 minutes, you can create an image and actually have it posted on your website in 10 minutes. If you're sending an email to your customers, you can create an image, and within 10 minutes, that image can be in your email, and that email can be sent to thousands of customers, so that you've got the cost advantage, you've got the creative quality advantage, and you've also got the speed advantage now with Midjourney. And then some of the use cases where you can use those images. So I have used it on websites. I've used it on social media ads. You can also do it on social media posts. If you're creating landing pages for a particular event or products, if you're launching a new product, creating a landing page, you can use images there. There's product brochures. If you advertise in magazines, these images can be used for that. If there is a bakery, physical bakery, and you want to have some good pictures of kids eating cakes, then in your store to make it, sort of friendly for kids, then you can also use these images as display and banners into your physical stores. You can have your merchandise printed, so if you wanted to give away cups and hats with some of these images.
All the tchotchke stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And then also all your internal business documents, presentations can be made a lot more interesting with images. Otherwise, these presentations can be very text heavy. But by now adding images, like we in risk management create a lot of policies, and policies can be very text heavy and really boring for employees to read. But now you can actually add images and make those policy documents a little bit more interesting and friendly for employees to read. And of course, if you're doing a lot of presentations to senior management, investors, customers, then you can, make your presentations so much more visual now by using these images from Midjourney. And then, like I said, it's the coaching, so if you're an owner of a small business, or if you're head of marketing or sales in a small or medium organization, you don't have the time, 60, 80 hours to go on YouTube and learn this. We can get you, quickly started with just a 2 hour coaching, where we can customize those images with your brand color, give you a set of prompt, give you that tool which will quickly write the prompt. And you can, also sign up, like in 10 minutes, you can sign up on the Midjourney website and get going.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. The thing that stands out to me too is when I look across all these super cute images that you did, is they evoke emotion. And I think that's one of the things too, is if you can connect with people on some level, whatever, whether it's risk or the bakery or whatever, it's going to have people stop and pause and pay a little bit more attention, especially today's world that it's fast and furious. And so what is it, that thing that just causes people to go, oh, and I think this is an opportunity, to your point, to pull out of just the stage stock images, and to be able to create something else that creates a moment that people pause. So
Yeah.
cool
Yeah,
stuff.
and if you have those digital displays like in your physical store where your customers are coming in, then you can refresh these images, right? So every week or every day you can have new images. So every time when the customers are coming into your bakery, they get like a new experience, because the images can be very different. If you have those digital displays where you can easily upload images and put them on a USB drive or they can read from some internet or shared folder.
Cool. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
hopefully people watching can appreciate it. I told Manoj, because he was going to do this section, I did not want to know what he was going to be doing, so I could be surprised. And it's cool stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we're going to hand over, Michael. I think you're going to show us a custom GPT. And I
Yeah,
put my
for
glasses
sure.
on so that I could actually see what was going on, guys.
Okay.
So Michael, I'm going to hand it over to you, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. So we're just gonna go quickly through how we can create a custom ChatGPT where you can dedicate that ChatGPT for either reviewing legal paper and stuff and pinpointing on the main points that I need to look at as an entrepreneur or a business, own a business. Again, it's not, you still need your legal team, your lawyer for verifying final transactions and everything, of course, but it's gonna help you to be more focused on the main points and especially with in parts of the negotiations in the middle of a deal or acquisition or anything like that, right? So let's start with this. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, so you're using Claude. Okay, cool.
So we're gonna start with Claude to create the prompt. Claude can be a little bit more advantageous than ChatGPT just to create the prompt. So I just ask Claude generate a prompt for an AI to create a lawyer AI, and then it generated all the prompt in here. And then as you can see, is probably so it pinpoints on the main points that and I give it a name also, lawyer AI. So advanced assistant specializing in legal expertise. The name is legal AI. You have been trained on so and so. So understand the user's legal questions, issues, needs. So we need to focus on that. Research relevant laws and regulations and so on. So provide specific recommendations, strategies, and courses. So, and you can even draft a basic legal document. Of course, again, just I'm insisting on make sure you need your legal team or your lawyer just always to do the final check before finalizing anything. So if you click copy here, that's the prompt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you can see my ChatGPT. So going back to ChatGPT, which is chatgpt.com, which we just talked about earlier. And if you click on Explore GPTs, it's going to bring us into here where you can create your own. So if you create your own here, at this point, we're just customizing our own GPT. So we'll click on Configure, and we're just going to paste in under instructions all how we want this GPT to act. So we said we're gonna call it legal AI, so we can do that here to keep it consistent, right? Images, it can make ChatGPT itself because it's using DALL-E to create its own. So it's gonna create something that is custom to that. And we're gonna need to leave the web search open because we want it to have access to web search. So current data and current information, right? And we can also leave image generation open. It just can be creative on that. So if we click create new action, we don't need that. We just need to click create. And it's pretty much all of it. Now we have an option. This can be only for me versus it can be anyone who has that link, so I can share it on the universal ones. Or sorry, whoever who has the link that I'm giving that link. But if I want it to be universal, it can go on the store, the ChatGPT store. So in this scenario, I want it only for me, right? And it just takes a few minutes. Now this is the link. If I wanna copy that and create a save it on the side and any of my bookmarks for later on. So now let's go and update. Now this should show up GPT. It will show up under So if I'm not in this page yet, and I'm opening this for the first time, ChatGPT, I go click on Explore GPTs, and then I click on My GPTs. Under My GPTs, I'm gonna find the legal AI. And there, for example, if I want to upload a document, and here is one, it's just a sample that I
Mhm.
wanted to, yeah.
You don't want your real stuff out there, Michael?
Nah, not
Come
yet.
on, what's wrong with you?
On the next episode.
Yeah, then you're gonna have all Michael's legal documents from his businesses.
Can you please review? Again, it's nothing serious, Michelle, you're right. Can you please review and and that's it. We could leave it at that. That way it's
Okay.
this way. Because it's already pre-prompt on the main points that we need to keep an eye on, right? So it would put in all the main things: parties, property description, lease terms, late fees. So it's gonna bring up certain points that I need to keep an eye on, which is the charges, security deposits. Okay, so especially if it's a long agreements and long documents, these are the things we want to keep an eye on. Suggestions for improvements. So maybe we want to include this, or it depends if I'm landlord or this. In this case, the agreement was for a lease agreement, so it's between a tenant and a landlord.
Yeah.
So here, if I'm the landlord, maybe I want to add up pet policy and other things, right? Termination clause and so on. So this can be very powerful. So that's it. And now anytime I need that ChatGPT, I can click on Explore, My GPTs, and here you go.
A lot of these legal documents can be like in a very legal or a compliance type language. And sometimes it makes sense to convert that into like a common man's language. So just
Yes.
something you can type here. If you say, explain the key points of this document to me as a 15-year-old. So then because that's what ChatGPT can do, that it can convert then the context of the document at different level, that if you're a graduate or if you're a 15-year-old or if you're somebody with 10 years of experience in the real estate business, that it can then explain that to you, in that common language, which, may be useful for some people if they're trying to understand
Yes.
this very complicated legal document.
And it brings the main numbers that if I'm leasing this property, what do I need to keep an eye on? I need to keep an eye on these.
Yeah.
And
So it
these are
can
the
really
deposits.
simplify. It can really simplify. Yeah. And then it becomes really interesting if you say like a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
It starts using like
Yes.
play and toy type examples to explain those
Yeah,
legal.
well, like a third grader or fifth grader, because that's a lot of stuff you want to do. The other thing that comes to mind for me is it will be important to call out the state or the county that you live in or the country that you live in, so that
Yep.
it's coming from expertise, not of just general super high level,
Yeah.
but specific for the area that this agreement is or the area that you live.
Yeah, and it's specialized to the area where legal things are, they have certain bylaws, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool stuff.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
So,
And thank you, Manoj.
yeah, thank you. So what I want to do is just go super quick. As I mentioned at the beginning, I support a lot of different people, and while I have people that are familiar with chat that I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you knew that. I have other people that have not stepped into the space at all and have no idea the powerful impact that chat can have. So here I am in Chat GPT. I'm using the one with Canvas only because it's one of the enhanced versions, if you will, of 4.0. I'm not the other options are here. I don't use preview or mini, but just playing with it. So let's say we'll go back to our bakery again. I do love our bakery, and I have a feeling at some point we may open this bakery.
Yeah, we may open the bakery. Yes.
or someone else will open this bakery.
Did very well,
So
Manoj.
So one of the things that Manoj shared when he did Notebook LM, and I'm over here on my other screen, so hold on, I'm just trying to copy something. When he did Notebook LM, was he talked about the ability to take like customer service or analyze different data sets. So here's one that I want chat to identify the key themes from the customer feedback, right? So our bakery, we got customer feedback from 100 customers. So I'm not going to attach a file. I'm just going to paste it. I'm just the least entry point that you can do. So I've copied it from a Word doc that I had. I'm pasting it. And so I want the key things from this 100. You can see all the feedback that I got. So there's going to be overlapping themes, right? And just in seconds, as you can see, because we're not cutting this out, chat's been able to give me key things on the feedback. Here's positive feedback on taste. Here's improvement, variety and flavors, product, customer service. There's positive stuff, but we have opportunity. We have certain times that we're busy that people have longer wait times. So what does that look like to be able to do staffing? And again, if we get this feedback, then we can go and take our sales by hour and figure out where are those times, and chat can help us to be able to say, you know what, these are our busier times. And so we need to up our staff, right? Atmosphere, pricing and value, no negatives, by the way, on pricing and value. Yay, Cambria crumbs. Availability and variety, convenience, engagement, all this stuff, and then summary of key takeaways. This is something that people may have gotten together, and I know in hospitals, or because I supported a lot of healthcare organizations, that they come together and they're looking to an outside agency to drill down. You can do stuff pretty easily on your own and not have to have dependency on another agency. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
I want
Michele,
yes.
can we extend this a little bit? So
Yeah.
if you just say convert it into a table format, because if you want to then copy and paste this
Yeah.
into Excel, then we can ask it to, convert it, the output
Yeah.
it is.
So what I'm going to do is I always tell chat thank you. So
I noticed.
yeah, I do it.
I like that.
That's my buddy.
It's your best buddy,
Yeah.
yes.
Please convert this into a table format.
Table format.
And just a reminder, whenever Michele says buddy, she's referring to ChatGPT.
Yeah, chat is
Not
my
us,
buddy.
right? Not us.
No.
Well, you guys
We're
are
the
buddies
buddies.
too, but you're not as quick to respond
Right, okay.
as supportive. And so I really appreciate chat and everything that chat's done. So to Manoj's suggestion, here's a table format really quickly. And oh, by the way, I can copy this and paste this,
Yeah.
and use this as a handout for the group that we're coming together to understand what the feedback is and talk about what we want to do about it.
Yeah. I mean, Michele, one more thing we can do here, because then we want to take action, right? So we can ask ChatGPT, give me 3 actions I can implement to follow the suggestions or implement the suggestions. And let's see what ChatGPT then tells you, that if you don't have time to execute all those suggestions or action all the suggestions, we can ask for 3. And then depending on which suggestions can have more impact on the customer service.
And it will give you better feedback if you had previously told it, or if you tell it like, okay, the most important objective is profitability. Number 2 is customer sat, right? Like if you give it priorities, it'll give you more, it'll give you better feedback, right?
Yes. Well, and so here, to your point, Manoj and Steve, here's the feedback on actions, right? What to do. Why this is a high impact outcome. And so part of it too, and I love this, is when you think about outcome, I want to think about how are you measuring effectiveness of what it is that you're doing. And so a lot of people struggle with this part of it. And so if I look at here, impact, outcome, wider appeal to health conscious, how do you measure that, right? Increase sales, loyalty. So is it working? Efficiency. So I love that. Steve, you said something that prompted my thinking, and now I can't remember what it was. But I love to your point, you can drill down. Oh, I remember what it was. Please improve. Let me see upon this response. So chat has the ability to make the responses even better. So chat can learn from itself and up its game. And so while I'm not going to sit here and compare these two, there's going to be some nuances to what does better look like.
Mm-hmm.
So try that as well. So when you get a response from chat that's something, just ask chat to up its game. That was one example. I want to go to another one that was another real example from someone that I was working with. And the situation was this, is they had to pivot their organization based on goals that got cascaded down, right? Because we're at the end of the year, people are planning for, especially calendar year, the next year, 2025. And so leadership team got together. These responses I'm going to show you are not from that team, but the scenario is they got together and basically did a SWOT analysis of all these leaders around the table. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats for the organization. And so the feedback was like super detailed. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to use the same concept. Please put the following feedback into buckets. So I'm not going to get super detailed. Manoj, to your point, we can. Here's the feedback that we got in the SWOT analysis, and it's super detailed. There's going to be some overlap and everything, but I can't present this. The human brain's not going to be able to do this quickly, but I want to see the themes. So when I bring the team back together, we can talk about themes. Hey, got your feedback. Here's the wording of what you used here, and here are the themes. So it's so funny. Chat's doing it in table feedback, just like the other ones. So key points, opportunities, threats. Okay. So here are key themes. And I wonder, what information do you need from me to recommend actions that deliver the highest impact? Okay. So I don't know what I don't know. So you may have a team coming together that they're like, oh my gosh. So I want to know from chat. I want chat to prompt me. What do you need to know, to Manoj's point? And so here we're going to go, I need to know your goals. Steve, you commented, target profile, financial insight. So we can update this information, and then chat can build on, here are the themes from your SWOT analysis. Here's some things that you might recommend. So you can bring this to the team. I wouldn't lead with it, but you can have it in your back pocket when you do this, to where if the team gets stuck, maybe you can challenge the thinking or bridge to the next level. Questions, comments, because I have one more. Anything to add?
Yeah, it's like if you're having a conversation with someone, you could be having a conversation with the most intelligent person in the world, but if you don't ask good questions, the conversation won't be near as good as it would otherwise be. So I think one way to think about ChatGPT is that it's been trained basically with all the information on the internet. And so it's got all this wealth of for lack of a better term, knowledge. And so the quality of the interaction with the tool will be based almost entirely upon the quality of the questions that you ask it and the prompts that you give it.
And gratitude for what chat has done.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I got smiley faces. I got other emojis. Chat is cheering me on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good for
Oh,
you.
that's why. That's why.
Yeah.
I think you have a good rapport with your buddy.
Right.
Oh, he is. So I've got one last one, and this is around emails, and I think this is probably the easiest entry point. Show of hands, guys in the room, and people listening. How many people have gotten that email and you're sitting there going, oh man. And so you're over and over and over in your brain going, how do I say this? You're wordsmithing it. It's taking entirely too long. So here's what I do, and this is not a real email, but this is an email that I crafted around an issue that may come to a leader, right? I'm going to just ask chat, please craft a response to this email. I'm going to paste the email into chat, right? The actual email. And while, so here's the thoughtful response, right? Thanks so much for bringing this to my attention. I'm sorry to hear the team's been overwhelmed. Whatever it may be, I can then take this and I can adjust it to be my voice if I don't have a custom GPT with my voice, okay, to where I have samples of how I would respond. But all of a sudden you get out of this gridlock of your brain, because typically what happens is we have 50 plates spinning. We don't calm ourselves enough to think critically on things. And it's just one more thing, and we may shoot off or fire off a response that isn't necessarily the most ideal response.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that example that you don't have to over engineer stuff. It's a simple entry point to saying, hey, please help me with this. You can give some more context. You could tell chat that I'm a not-for-profit. I'm gonna reach out. Let me try that. Let me do this, because this is a real thing too, right? I am a not-for-profit and am looking for donations for my latest fundraiser. Okay, so let's just say that we're just going to do this. It's very basic. I recommend that you put more information in. I want to hear from chat what chat's going to do. So here's out of the gate. Hey, let's make a difference in our latest fundraiser. I hope this message finds you. We at whatever are currently organizing our latest fundraiser. Your generous contributions in the past have had an incredible impact, and we're hoping you might consider it again. Da 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 da. What the fundraiser is going to do. But what happens is you've got a starting point for your thinking and what's going on, because honestly, guys, I think this is the biggest resistance that people have is it's the blank sheet in front of them. And if you can use chat as your partner to help you get over that initial hump, you can either wordsmith with chat, or you can say, you know what, this is close enough. I'm going to put this stuff in. You could answer these questions where these brackets are and have chat rewrite it. But this is huge, because if you actually sat down and thought about how much time you spend on just spinning on crafting emails, this for me was a game changer. So I'll stop there.
It's been a lifesaver for me, because because what I use it for is I'll paste an email I want to respond to, but then I'll paste my ideas of what I want to cover, but I don't have to draft the whole email. I'll say that, okay, I want to, in my response, I want to cover these 3 ideas. So I don't want it to take complete creative freedom, because I know what I want to say. And then it'll draft the email content. But then also sometimes I'm sending email to people in US, sometimes it's UK, sometimes it's Middle East, sometimes it's Australia. You can also then get ChatGPT to change, like British English versus US English, that it can then write the language depending on the audience, and also different cultures, respond to different words. So I can also use to say, okay, I'm sending this to somebody in Middle East, so then write the email so that it sort of aligns with whatever the norms of email are, because the language or the words you use in Middle East may be very different to what you use in UK or US or Australia, for example. So it's been a super lifesaver that every email I send through, ChatGPT is like my assistant. It helps me write the email, and then also to see if I'm missing something. So if there's a blind spot, then it can also help me address or find that blind spot. So I include that into my.
Generally.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
You were going to say something, Michael?
Yeah, just a quick thing. Again, to what Michele was just showing us, you can still do that within a custom GPT, where if you already pre-fed it or pre-instruct it was all the information about your business. And because even if you have a few businesses and each one is doing completely different things, so that GPT will be pre-built and pre-instructed about the information about that business.
Mhm.
And then you're going to be doing your emails and all your communications with the information you've fed in at the back end, either information, the name, the business target market, the kind of business you do, a little bit of burp. All of that, you don't need to repeat yourself each time.
Yeah.
And at the end of the email will be like very
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
you-
whole idea. It's the whole idea in process improvement. It was like go slow to go fast. So how do you front
Right.
load
Well-
this stuff to where you've got the information built in and then you're just clicking. Yeah, good call out. So thank you for your time. So quick round robin, last thoughts, takeaways that you'd love people to have from our time together today.
Well, for me, it's, you can use this technology for basically anything that you can imagine, whether it be to enrich your personal life, to improve your professional life, which you can break down, improve in so many different ways, whether to be more efficient, more effective, to get more satisfaction, right? So there's many different ways, but basically there's not an area of our life that at least for me, that I think that, I cannot use this technology.
Yeah, thank you. Michael.
For me, it's you don't know what you don't know. So use Michelle's buddy.
Right.
I will share chat with everyone. Chat is my buddy. Manoj, what's on your mind?
I want to share this book called Scary Smart, because the way AI is evolving, that it's going to touch everything, right? It's going to touch every industry, every organization in the world. And of course, it's going to start affecting our personal lives also in good and bad ways. So it's to be seen that how we respond to this coming wave of AI. And that's where I found this book to be really useful, where it talks about how do we look at AI from a society perspective? How do we look at it from our kids' perspective? That I have a daughter where I have to make a decision in 2 years whether she should go to university or not go to university. That will, universities or university education, will that be needed in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of society and family level topics which we all need to start thinking how it's going to change, because we don't want to wait for that surprise to sort of hit on our head and then we think about it. And this book really sort of opened up some of those ideas. It gives you a model of how do you think about this topic, because of course we talk a lot about it from a work perspective, but there is also this bigger topic on AI's impact in society and family and our personal life. So I definitely recommend this book if you want to start thinking about AI from those perspectives.
Cool.
Actually, this author was one of the very early ones involved with the AI when it was a long time ago with Google. He was one of the chief.
That's right.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Thank you. Greg, what's on your mind?
Well, it's just a matter of, we have a business consultant, a business mentor at our fingertips 24/7. And what Michele and Michael have both showed you is, even if you're a little bit nervous about where to start, you can ask chat to ask you the questions that help you get going. And I mean, we don't necessarily have to have the blueprint in front of us immediately, but just take some time and some patience to build on it. And, again, just ask chat for a little response and how can I improve my own prompting? And it's amazing what response you will get.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's a resource at your fingertips. Like I said before, previous podcast with Leadership Soundbites is it's at your doorstep. And so literally open the door and just, let chat in. And to your point, Greg, just play with it. Don't have any expectations, but be curious. Like we started out before with that one leader said, the curiosity of a child, the creativeness, be that. And I think it'll surprise you. Guys, I always appreciate time in the room with you. This has been AI Because podcast with my friends. And until next time, please like, share, subscribe. Have a great one. Thanks.
Thank you.
We got the spark in the circuits now. Enemies listen, we'll show you how. A new wave rising, it's clear and loud. AI's the future, let's make you proud. Data and dreams combine in the air. From cloud to code, oh, we're everywhere. Innovation driving, we're breaking ground. With AI tools, let's turn it around. AI become a use. We're powering your moves. Tech that's here for good, bringing all the moods. Ooh.